Morning, Acharya.
Om Sadashiva-Samarambham Shankaracharya-Madhyamam Asmadacharya-Paryantam Vande Guru-Paramparam. Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahana Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karvavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma Vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Tat Sat. Om Namah Shivaya. So we are on the 11th chapter, or the 30th verse. We will chant. Please unmute yourself. Arjuna Uvacha
Arjuna Uvacha
Lelihase Grasamana Samantat
Leliyase Grasamana Samantat
Lokan Samagran Vadanai
Lokan Samagran Vadanair Jaladvihi
तेजोभि तेजोभिरापूर्य जगत् समग्रम्
Tejobhyapurya Jagat Samagram
आसस्तवोग्राः पतपन्ति विष्णो
Vasastavogra Pratapanti Vishnu.
So Arjuna continues with what he is seeing. Samagran Lokan. So Samagran Lokan, all the people in the world. So Samagran is from the word Agre. Agre means in the beginning. So it can be taken here as up to the limits. Samagran Agre. All up to the limits of the universe, which means all the 14 lokas we are talking about. Okay, so here Samagran is just taken as all, the entire universe, including all the lokas. And therefore, Samagran includes the Vishwarupa also. And remember that Vishwarupa is the whole universe, the Jagat itself, which is the body of the Lord. And here, therefore, the implication is that even that body, even that Ishvara's body, which is the Vishwarupa, that cannot escape the grasp of time, that cannot escape Kala Tattvam. The only thing immune from Kala is what? Atmi. And therefore he says Samanta, completely, from everywhere, from all the directions. So in respect of what? Grasamanaha, you are swallowing what? Samanta, all people in every direction, Pandavas and Kauravas are both being eaten. And Jaladbihi, blazing Vadanaihi. Jaladbihi, blazing with the blazing mouth. The mouth is blazing with Agni Tattvam. So that time principle, the time destroys everything, right? So that's what it said. Time is destroying everything. And this time principle here is being referred to as Bhagavan's mouth. And then Arjuna says, Leli Hyasehe. So he's actually licking the lips. So Arjuna is asking, it's bad enough that you are eating us. But you are actually licking your lips. You are actually enjoying it, right? And Samagram Jagat Apuryaha. Samagram Jagat, the entire universe, Apuryaha is filled. Filled with what? Tejoho, that heat of the Kala Agni, and Tava Ugraha Bhasaha, that fierce heat of which is emanating from you, from your mouth. The Agni is so strong, it is Pratapanti, scorching, it is tormenting. And who all is it tormenting? Vishnu. So Vishnu is from the word Vish, Vishnoti, pervades around. And therefore that heat which is being generated by you in the process of destruction, that is surrounding the entire universe. So we have to extract from this verse that what is Ishvara? Ishvara is the universe. What is the universe? The universe has three stages: creation, sustenance, destruction. All these three aspects together is Ishvara, which is why we call Ishvara as Brahma, Mahesh, and Shiva, creator, maintainer, and destroyer. So creation and maintenance, it's fine. We don't have any problem with that. But destruction, all of us find it very difficult to reconcile. It's not very easy to reconcile with the fact that Ishvara is a destroyer also. Okay. Now verse number 31. We will chant. आख्याहि मे को भवानुग्ररूपः
आख्याहि मे को भवानुग्ररूपः
नमोऽस्तु ते देववर प्रसीद
नमोऽस्तु ते
नमोऽस्तु
देववर
ते
प्रसीद
देववर प्रसीद
विज्ञातुमिच्छामि भवन्तमाद्यम्
ज्ञातुमिच्छामि भवन्तमाद्यम्
भवन्तमाद्यम्
न हि प्रजानामि तव प्रवृत्तिम्
न हि प्रजानामि तव प्रवृत्तिम्
प्रवृत्तिम्
So, kaha bhavan ugrarupaha. So he is asking, what is this terrible form of yours? Who are you, O terrifying one? Right? So this is what I was saying in the last verse, that it is easy to appreciate the Lord as creator and sustainer. But when you talk about tragedy and destruction, it takes a particularly mature mind to understand that is also part of the process. Because normally when there is a war, there's a destruction, there is mass tragedy, even a single tragedy in your life, what happens? You face a crisis of faith. There is a natural calamity. Some devotees are going to Kedarnath and something happens, a lot of them die. There is a crisis of faith. We'll say, oh, they were devotees. How could the Lord kill the devotees? And unable to accept this destructive aspect of the Lord, many people become Nastikas, right? Because they have not understood. And that's why it's very important to have religion backed up by Shastric study. Religion without Shastric study becomes fanatism. It becomes blind faith. And that is why we say that religion which has no structure behind it, where you are not studied properly, be it the Hindu religion only, those people who go only by the religious aspects without having understood what it means, that religion has the potential to fan hatred. It has the potential to divide. It has the potential to generate, terrible violence. And there are people who will say that there are people, darshanas, there are schools of thought, there are faiths which say that you cannot question the Lord, is sin. Right? If you question the Lord, you are a heretic, you must be destroyed. That is not the solution. What is the solution? The Lord has given you an intellect. Use that intellect, understand what is Lord, understand what is Ishvara. A Vedantin never asks who is Ishvara. He always asks what is Ishvara. And when you do that, you will understand what is suffering at the individual level. Vyashti suffering, what it is, you will understand. Samashti suffering, you will understand. And this thorough understanding arising from the law of karma is possible only by studying scripture. And therefore, what is required is a consistent, systematic study of Shastram, Vedantic Shastram, under the guidance of a competent Acharya for a sufficient period of time. So every word is important. Consistent, systematic study of Vedantic scriptures under the guidance of a competent teacher for a sufficiently long length of time. Without that, religion will become the source of hatred and violence. Okay, now you're coming back to this verse. Arjuna says, Krishna, I am trying to understand who you are. Please let me know. Okay, so Akhyahi me, please tell me. Te Devavara Prasida. Te, you, Devavaraha, O Lord among lords, Prasidaha, may you be pleased. Why? Because Vijñātum Ichchami, I want to know. Vijñātum Ichchami, I want to know. Bhavantam Adyam, who you are. Adhyam, I want to know you who are Srishti Karanam. And how do I want to know? Vijñātum. So Vijñātum is Visheshena Jnatum. Know in very great detail. Right? And why do I want to know? Na prajanami tava pravrittim. I do not know your functions right now. At the moment, it seems to me that you are only swallowing up people, killing people. Is there anything else that you do at all? So he's asking, oh, hey Lord, I am unable to understand what you are doing, swallowing up people, people dangling from your teeth, in between your teeth. So please explain to me. So with this, Arjuna finishes his dialogue with the Lord, and then Krishna starts. The rest of it, the next 3 verses, are an answer to Arjuna's questions. So we will chant. Shri Bhagavan Vacha.
Shri Bhagavan
Vacha
Alosmi lokakshayakrit pravriddha.
Kalosmi lokakshayakrit pravruddhah
Lokakshayakritpravriddhः
Lokan samahurtumiha pravrittah.
Lokan samaharmiha pravruddhah
प्रवृत्तः
Tepi tvam na bhavishyanti sarve.
Tepi tvam na bhavishyanti sarve
सर्वे
Evasthitah pratyanikeshu yodhaah.
Eva sthitah
व्यवस्थिताः
pratyanikeshu yodhaah
योधाः
So all of you all are advanced students. You all know about the 2 satyams, the Vyavaharika Satyam and the Paramarthika Satyam. What is Vyavaharika Satyam? It is the plane of reality where space and time are crucial. They are intrinsic to Vyavaharika Satyam. And therefore, since time is there is arrival, there is departure, there is growth, there is decay, there is birth, there is death. In short, there is Dvaitam, there is duality. And Vyavaharika Satyam is an integral part of understanding Vyavaharika Satyam. When you have to really understand Vyavaharika Satyam, you have to understand that Dvaitam is an integral part of Vyavaharika Satyam. And therefore, if you have to accept Vyavaharika Satyam, you have to accept it totally, including the duality. You cannot say that I will be in Vyavaharika, but I reject the duality. If you are going to accept Vyavaharika Satyam, and you have no choice but to accept, right? Because every moment, where are you functioning? In that relative plane only, in the transactional plane only. In Vyavaharika Satyam, you are there. You were born in Vyavaharika Satyam. You came to Vedanta in Vyavaharika Satyam. Every time you sit for a class, is there duality or not? You are there, the teacher is there, the instrument of teaching is there, Zoom is there, computer is there, laptop is there. Duality is an intrinsic part. And therefore, in Vyavaharika Satyam, you have to understand that time is there, space is there, duality is there. But in Paramarthika Satyam, there is no time, there is no space, there is nothing to divide. And therefore, there is no duality. Dharma is not there, adharma is not there, good is not there, bad is not there, birth is not there, death is not there. If you accept Vyavaharika, you have to accept both sides of that coin. Or you can renounce Vyavaharika, but for that you require tremendous mental strength. Right? You have to renounce your friends, you have to renounce your enemies, you have to renounce death, you have to renounce birth also. So total renunciation of Vyavaharika requires huge strength. Total acceptance of Vyavaharika also requires tremendous strength because you have to bear all the ups and downs of that life without your mind getting disturbed. The beauty is what? Whether you accept Vyavaharika or whether you reject Vyavaharika, the strength needed for the acceptance or the rejection, it comes only from one source, Atmajnanam. Atmajnanam is the only source of getting that particular strength. So Atmajnanam will make you fit for both. You can reject Vyavaharika, you can accept Bhavarika. And here, what is Krishna saying? He says, hey Arjuna, aham kalaha asmi. Kalosmi. Aham you can supply. Aham kalaha asmi. This is from which drishti? It is from Vyavaharika drishti. I am the time principle, he says. I am kalaha. Right? Then, in Vyavaharika, what functions does time have? It has two functions, creating and destroying. And therefore, what am I doing here? Lokakshaya krit. Lokanam kshayam karoti iti. I am the destroyer of all these worlds and these people. So he says, hey Arjuna, I am Kalaha itself. I am the time principle. And time principle has two functions, creation and destruction. Right now, I am engaged in the destruction. And therefore he says, Pravriddhaha. Pravriddhaha means that destructive part of me is now active. Right? I am engaged in the active destruction. And who am I destroying? Lokan iha samahridam. I have undertaken the job of samahridam, destroying Lokan iha, all these people. You can take Loka as the worlds also. But on the battlefield, probably a better idea is all these people. Therefore, Loka iha samahridam. I am destroying all these people. And then Krishna gives a warning. Rite pitvam. Hey Arjuna, Ritaha api tvam. Ritaha means even if you don't participate, even without you, hey Arjuna, sarvena bhavashyanti. None of these people will survive. So he's giving Arjuna a warning. Arjuna, you can choose to participate. You can keep sitting on a chariot. Don't think the destruction will stop. Sarvena bhavashyanti. They will not survive at all. Don't think you are the destroyer. Destruction is being done by me, the time principle. And who are going to be destroyed? Ye avasthitaha. All the people who are sthitaha in front of you. All the people who are standing in front of you, whom you are seeing, they will all be destroyed by me. And who are these people? Pratyanikeshu yodaha. Yodaha, the warriors, prati anikeshu, who are present in both the armies. All of them will be destroyed. Now, verse number 33. We chant. Tasmat tvamutishta yasho labhasva.
तस्मात्
यशो लभस्व
Jitva shatrun bhunksva rajyam samriddham.
जित्वा
भुङ्क्ष्व राज्यं समृद्धम्
नैवैते निहता पूर्वमेव.
मयैवैते निहताः पूर्वमेव
निमित्तमात्रं भव सव्यसाचिन्.
निमित्तं भव सव्यसाचिन्.
So Krishna says, hey Arjuna, because I have told you all this. What is this? Tasmat. Tasmat. Therefore, because I have said that I am the one who is destroying, and whether you like it or not, these guys are going to get destroyed. Tvam uthishta. You should get up. Why? For last 10 chapters, you have been sitting on that blessed chariot. So please get up. Tvam uthishta. Yasho labhasva. You should gain yashaha. You should gain fame. Name and fame, you should gain. How? Shatrun jitva. By defeating your enemies. And Shankara in his commentary says, adds, supplying salt over there. He says, who are the Shatrun? Bhishma, Athirataha, Ajayaha, Daivairapi. So, by defeating warriors like Bhishma, who is your guru. And what kind of Bhishma is he? Athirataha, is a great warrior. Devairapi ajayaha, who cannot be defeated even by the devas, even by the gods. Such people, such a great warrior, you should destroy. Shatrun jitva. So, and then what will you get? After destroying people like Bhishma and the other great warriors, what will you get? Samriddham, Rajyam, Bhungshva. Samriddham, a prosperous Rajyam, kingdom, Bhungshva. You can enjoy the prosperous kingdom for many, many years. And Mai Vaite Nihita Purvam Eva. Mai Eva Ete Nihita Purvam Eva. By me alone. Purvameva. These people have already been Nihita. He says, these people, O Arjuna, by me they have already been destroyed. It's a past tense. Purvam Eva. They have already been destroyed. So they say in English, no, dead man walking. That is what is being said here. That these people are already dead here, Arjuna, and dead at my hands. Why? Because their prarabdha karma has ended. And therefore, destruction is certain. The means of destruction may be different. Can be you, who Arjuna, or can be me. But destruction is certain. Okay. Now here Shankara thinks, that we need some little clarity on what nihita means. Nihata is actually destruction. So, but Shankara wants to give us particular definition. So he says, Nishchayena hataha, definitely killed. Nihitaha, definitely killed. Nishchayena hataha. And then Shankara thinks a bit more and says, what does hataha mean? What does killed mean? He wants us to understand. So he says, pranaihi viyojitaha. It's a very beautiful definition. What is killed? The separation of the sukshma shariram from the sthula shariram. Very, very beautiful definition. So if ever you want to kill anybody, I hope not. Don't say I want to kill you. Just say I am going to separate your sukshma shariram from your sthula shariram. So that's a threat. Then he says, hey, savya sachin. So savya sachin means the person who can shoot arrows with the left hand also. Savya means hand, right? Or left hand rather. And Arjuna can already shoot. Most warriors can shoot with the right hand also. Therefore, Savya Sachin has to be taken as ambidextrous, who can use both his hands. And Shankara, of course, describes this. What does Savya Sachin mean? Savyena means with the left hand. Savyena hastena, with the left hand. What does he do? Sachi. Sachi means shooting the arrow. So the one who can release the arrow with his left hand also. So that's a name for Arjuna. Savya Sachin, the one who can shoot arrows with the left also. What does he say? Nimitta matra bhavaha. Very, very famous word, phrase. Nimitta matram bhavaha. May you, Arjuna, become a simple instrument in my hands. Nimittam. Nimittam is the instrument. Matram, only, bhavaha, become. May you become a simple instrument in my hand, O Arjuna. Now this Nimitra Matram Bhava, we will try to explain it a bit more because it's a very easily misunderstood word and used by a lot of people to tell us that Shastra is fatalistic. So everything is predetermined by the Lord. So when he says Nimitta Matram, he says you become the instrument. But who you are going to kill, that is not for you to decide, that I have decided. So it looks as if there is the doctrine of predetermination. It looks as if we humans have no choice at all. But this is a wrong conclusion because we must remember the Shastra never talks about fatalism at all. Shastra does not accept fatalism. Why? Because fatalism means you are saying that there is no free will for the human being. And this is against the very basic teaching of Shastra. Okay. But is there a distinction between rejecting fatalism and rejecting fate? So we are saying Shastram rejects fatalism. But does Shastram reject fate? What is
No,
the answer?
no.
Okay. Why?
Because
Karma.
fate ultimately is decided by the karma, and karma is
Very good.
decided by your actions and thoughts.
Right. So fate is another word for karma phalam, which we talk about as prarabdha. And prarabdha, remember, is only one of the factors which influences your life. It is not the only factor. It is a good, strong factor, but it is not the only factor. And we have seen time and again, there are two factors which influence the success or failure of your life. One, of course, is prarabdha, which is karma phalam. The other one is purushartha or free will. It is a combination of these two that decides your future. But there are lots of darshanas which accept fatalism as true. And supposing you find in your discussions with somebody, supposing you find that he says no, no. When Krishna says nimitta matram, he means that you are only the instrument. You have no free will at all. And therefore, Shastra is fatalistic. What are your arguments? You will say that if you accept fatalism as true, then you are saying that I need not take any responsibility for my actions. I can kill, I can murder, I can steal. I am nimitta matra. Who is the scapegoat? Ishvara. Right. So I can blame Ishvara for everything that I do. And Ishvara is a good scapegoat because he won't come and defend himself. Right? So that's the first thing. I need not take responsibility for anything that I do. And Shankara in his commentary therefore says that any interpretation of the Shastram which rejects Sve Ichha, free will, should never be accepted as true. Okay. What is the next one? If you say Ishvara is doing everything, and you are what? Nimitta Matram. You are only the instrument. Who is the Karta?
Ishvara.
Ishvara. And what is the rule? Karta evam Bhokta. So who is the, what do you call, Bhokta of all actions?
Same Ishvara.
Ishvara. And therefore Ishvara has so many actions which everybody is doing. He is the Bhokta of all the actions. Therefore Ishvara will become a permanent samsari. Right? What about us? We are only the instruments. We are nimitta matram. And therefore instruments never get any karma phalam because instrument is karanam and not karta. Remember that there is a saying, guns don't kill people. It is the hand which pulls the trigger which kills people. And therefore, by this theory of fatalism, I am not the karta of any action. I am permanently free from karma phalam. I am permanently free from punya papam, which is what? Moksha. Therefore, all jivas are nitya muktaha. Only Ishvara samsari. This is the problem with the argument. Then with the technical one also. If Ishvara alone does everything, alone is the author of all actions, and we are all nimittams, instruments, then all the sufferings undergone by all the people, that has to be attributed to whom? It has to be attributed to Ishvara alone. So this is a defect in Ishvara, which is called Nairgrinya dosha. Nairgrinya means the person is not compassionate. Nairgrinya dosha means Ishvara is not compassionate. As such a interpretation, a lot of people do, and they say there's a lot of yours. He is a most evil, most cruel person, non-compassionate person, and therefore you will find that a lot of people do not have any belief in the Lord, and they turn to atheism. Okay, another continuation of that same argument. If Ishvara is the one who is the author of all actions, then he makes some people happy and he makes some people miserable. So he is accused of partiality, right? Thirdly, since Ishvara is the Karta and we are all only instruments, Instruments are not concerned with dharma, adharma, right? The car does not need to know the traffic rules, right? Only the driver of the car needs to go. And therefore, if you think that Bhagavan is karta of all action, then there is no scope for study of Dharma Shastra, because karta only needs to know Dharma Shastra. Okay. And one more thing. Supposing you do not have free will, if you're only nimitta matram, instruments in the hands of somebody else, a person who does not have free will does not need to choose any course of action. If you don't need to have choices in life, you will have no conflict in life. Conflicts come out of choices. And therefore, all the conflicts are experienced by whom? By karta alone. Therefore, if you say that Lord is the karta, I am the instrument, you will have no conflict at all. Only Bhagavan be permanently conflicted. But are you conflicted or not? Yes. Perception, pratyaksham tells you that my life is a series of conflicts. Conflicts indicate choices. Choices indicate free will. And therefore, if anybody claims that he has no free will, remember he is not a Manushya, because Shastra says Manushya has free will. On the other hand, a tiger does not debate whether he is vegetarian or not. He just eats you up. Therefore, we cannot say that future is determined by free will alone. We cannot say that future is determined by my own karma. You have to say it is free will plus fate. The interaction of the two decides the result. Then you might say, okay, fine, all that is great. Why does Krishna say, hey Arjuna, nimitta matram bhava, become an instrument in my hands? So there is a very important question. Becoming the instrument in the hands of the Lord means following a dharmic course of action. So remember that Easwara is dharma rakshakaha. He is the keeper of dharma. So when I use my free will in such a manner that my actions are aligned with dharma, right? If the choice is between dharma and ragadvesha, if my free will is used in such a manner that my choice aligns with dharma and not with ragadvesha, what has happened? I have become nimitta matra. I have become the instrument of the Lord. And that is obvious here. Arjuna faces a conflict. Why? Because he has a free will. What is his conflict? Dharma tells him he is a warrior, he has to fight. Ragadvesha tells him there is, Bhishma in front, there is Dronacharya in front, do not fight. So there is a conflict. And Krishna here is saying, hey Arjuna, do not go by a ragadvesha. Nimitta matram means your free will is not gone. It means your free will should be aligned with the call of dharma. And if you have done that, if you have been able to act against your ragadvesha, aligning your actions with dharma, you have become nimitta matram, an instrument in the hands of the Lord. The one very, very, very important point which many people miss. Krishna is saying nimitta matram bhava. You are my instrument, he does not say. Right? Remember, if Krishna had said, you are my instrument, what is the difference between saying nimitta matram bhava? Nimitta matram bhava means, hey Arjuna, be my instrument. Supposing he had said, you are my instrument, hey Arjuna, what would be the difference?
It would be a passive thing. Here he is being asked to take an action, to decide. Decide yourself.
Okay, fair enough. So when he says Nimitta Matram Bhava, he is saying, hey Arjuna, you have got free will. All human beings have got free will. A human being can decide to follow dharma or follow ragadvesha. Arjuna, don't follow ragadvesha. You decide to follow dharma. That is what he's saying. Okay, so yes, again, that little simple bhava indicates that Krishna accepts that you have free will. Okay, any questions so far? It's an important discussion.
It's not a question, but I just wanted to say this last discussion, Bhava has kind of clarified. I had doubt till that time, but this last thing was very important for me at least.
Yes,
Yeah.
it,
All Shankaracharya. Don't attribute anything to me. Okay, it's all Shankaracharya. That's why
yes.
that's why the beauty of Shankara's Bhashyam is there. He takes every word and hammers it into our head.
Yeah, till that time I was not fully convinced. Like I had doubt, but now like with this Bhava explanation, yeah, it clarified. Thank you.
Okay, now we look at the 34th verse. Dronam cha bhishmam cha jayadratham cha
द्रोणं च भीष्मं च जयद्रथं
जयद्रथं च
karnam tathanyanapi yodha viran
कर्णं
कर्णं
तथान्यानपि
तथान्यानपि
योधवीरान्
योधवीरान्
यातास्त्वं जहिमा व्यथिष्ठाः
मया हतांस्त्वं जहिमा व्यतिष्ठा
जहिमा व्यतिष्ठा
युद्धस्वजेतासि रणे सपत्नान्
युध्यस्वजेतासि रणे सपत्नान्
रणे सपत्नान्
So Krishna continues his discussion with Arjuna. Maya hatan, having been killed by me. Yeah, Maya indicates me, me indicates time principle, law of karma. So he says, Maya hatan, I am the one who is the karma phala adhyakshaha, the president the one who presides over the law of karma. And therefore, what I am doing is only giving karma phala. Right? I have not brought about the deaths of these people. I am just giving the phalam which their karma has brought. What is that karma phalam? It is death. So he says, who all are dying? Dronam, Bhishmam, Jayadratha. Okay. Now you can ask, why does Krishna mention these three? Krishna mentions these three. Of course, Shankara says he mentions these three people, these three warriors, because these are the three most formidable warriors in that battle. They are the best warriors, very, very difficult to defeat. And how will you say that they're difficult to defeat? So that we have to understand Dronacharya. Dronacharya is what? Is the guru of all the warriors, including Arjuna himself. He has taught them Dhanurvidya, the art of archery. And not only that, Shankara says Dronacharya has got many, many divine weapons got during sadhana. And not only that, he is Arjuna's own guru also. And one is always doubtful, can I defeat my teacher? So that, therefore, Dronacharya is a very formidable warrior for Arjuna. What about Bhishma? Why does Krishna mention Bhishma? Because Bhishma has the boon of Ichamrityu. Ichamrityu means he has the boon of deciding when he will die. So that those of you who have read Mahabharata would know that Bhishma was given a boon that he can decide the time of his death. The boon never says you will not die. Boon says you have to die, but you decide when you will die. Okay. And not only that, Bhishma also has many, many divine weapons. And not only that, Bhishma once entered into a fight with Parshuram, who was avatar of the Lord. And Parshuram could not defeat Bhishma. Therefore, Bhishma is a formidable warrior. Here, nobody says that Bhishma defeated Parshuram. He simply makes a statement, Parshuram could not defeat Bhishma, and therefore he is a great warrior. Then the third one is Jayadratha. What is so great about Jayadratha? Jayadratha's father had given him a boon. That boon said that whoever causes, the words are important, whoever causes the head of Jayadratha to fall on the ground, that person will also immediately die. That was the boon. And of course, we know how Krishna, gets Arjuna to go around this, find a loophole, so to speak. What does he do? Arjuna cuts off Jayadratha's head, but drops that head into the lap of his father. When the father opens his eyes for meditation, he finds his son's head on the ground and shocked on the lap. He is so shocked that he gets up and the head falls to the ground. So technically speaking, the one who caused the head to fall on the ground was Arjuna. It was Jayadratha's father. So that's another very, very good lesson. How should you word, if at all you are asking Ishvara for a boon, you should word your boon carefully. Had the boon been whoever kills you will die, Arjuna would have died. But the boon was not like that. Okay. Then, Tvam Jahi, you will kill. You will kill whom? Dronam, Bhishmam, Jayadratha. And if these three major warriors die, then who will win the war? The winning of the war becomes certain for Pandavas. And people say that, some commentators say that by telling Arjuna this, Krishna is increasing Arjuna's confidence by saying that you are going to kill these people, therefore you will definitely win the war. Then Karna. Karna is also a Karan in Hindi, is a great warrior. And he has a very great weapon given to him by Indra. So Shankara uses the word Amogaha, infallible. Once discharged, nobody can stop that weapon, but it can be used only once. And therefore Krishna is saying, hey Arjuna, I am telling you so many things. How can you think you will not win? I am practically telling you that you are the victor. And therefore, Ma Vyatishta, have no fear, Yudhyasva, take to battle. Why should you take to battle? Because you are a Kshatriya. What is a Kshatriya? Shatat Trayate iti Kshatriyaha. The one who saves his people from Shataha, from problems, from trouble, from disaster. Trayate, saves, protects. That is Kshatriya. And therefore it is your duty to, fight. Shataha can be taken as adharma. So adharma trayate, the one who saves people from adharma, he is a Kshatriya. And therefore, Arjuna, you are a Kshatriya. You should take to battle. Yudhyasva jetasi sapatnan rane. Certainly you will defeat your enemies in this battle. Sapatnam means enemies. Rane means battle. Yudhyasva rane, in the fight on the battlefield. Jetasi sapatnam. You will certainly defeat your enemies. With this, Krishna stops. And then Sanjay speaks. So the verse number 35, we will chant. Sanjaya Uvacha
Sanjaya
Sanjaya
Etat Shrutva Vachanam Keshavasya
Etat Krutva Vachanam Keshavasya
Pranjalirvepamanah Kiriti
Anjalirvepamanah Kiriti
Naskritva Bhuya Eva Krishnam
Namaskritva Bhuya Eva Krishnam
Sadgadam Bhita Bhita Pranamya
Sagadgadam Bhita Bhita Pranamya
Okay. So if you, we said the Lord was compassionate earlier. Now, if he is compassionate, some people will tell you, then how come he gives all these terrible fruits, karma phalam? The Lord is compassionate. That does not mean he will alter the karma phalam. The judge is compassionate. That does not mean just give me a minute, please. Have it too.
Yes, today she's seeing only dengue patients today.
Oh.
Yeah, and anyway, she's coming only after 11. So the clinic said to call maybe closer to 9:30, 9:45.
Just tell her that we have to see her.
Because only dengue patients in the whole place will be dengue.
Should we go to the hospital instead?
Today, hospital means you have to go to emergency care. His thing is being controlled with lever. So, like, he is perfectly okay right now.
Okay, so you want me to come? Let me know. I'll come.
Basically, this is a nurse or the to that she is probably doing it. So, my point is that even if she says, okay, if he's repeating a lot, you come. But now I'm a little scared about going there. We shouldn't give him something worse and then come.
I just talk to her.
Medication.
Talk to her, see if you can see her in the hospital. If she will come. So,
How just what's that? Your services normally.
okay, all right. Yeah, that might be a big problem. Okay, let's see how it works. Okay, all right. Okay.
So I don't want to make it worse than it is. Because fever, if it spikes, then whatever happens, we'll have to take money. Then it'll be much worse.
Right.
Without fever, a lot of things we can control at all.
Okay. Let me know if you want to come. Welcome.
Yeah, I like it. Right now, like, I just thought I'll tell you so you carry on. But anyway, my thing is sorted because my maid has come just now. My cook will come by 9:30 and she is coming only at 11. So even if she comes, I like Krishna and I will take her. Then we'll let you know what. Okay.
Sorry about that. Okay, so we are saying that we said the Lord is compassionate, but even if he is compassionate, can he alter karma phalam? He cannot, because his compassion is for the entire universe, and it has to be in the form of the maintenance and implementation of the law of karma. It cannot be in the nature of suspending the karma phalam, because not only is there a natural order of creation, the physical laws, but there is a moral order of creation also. And if you suspend karma phalam, the moral order of creation will get disturbed. Imagine that you are a great bhakta, and then somehow you have fallen off a mountain, and you pray to the Lord, please stop the law of gravity. Is that possible? No, because the law of gravity applies to everybody. Suspending the law of gravity will harm the others. And therefore, the correct understanding is that if my prarabdham brings me suffering, I should accept the suffering without complaining about the Lord, because ultimately it is my own problem only. So every time I'm suffering, I have to tell myself, this is the result of punyam or papam. The suffering is the result of punyam or papam. And every time I suffer, I should also remind myself that one suffering has extinguished one papam. Therefore, my burden of papam has become less. Okay. Then, does it mean that prayaschitta karma is useless? Penance, karmas done as penance, are they useless? If karma phalam has to necessarily give you sorrow or pain according to the nature of the karma, why should I do prayaschitta karma at all? is it not a waste? So that's a good question. And again, here also we have to say that prayaschitta karma is ultimately what? It is karma only. And karma functions according to the law of karma only. Therefore, prayaschitta karma also functions according to karma laws only. And what is prayaschitta karma? The Lord is there in it. And therefore, I am producing punyam, which has the exact, opposite effect of papam. Therefore, that punyam, which I am producing because of prayaschitta karma, it can lessen the effect of my papa karma or even completely eliminate it. Right? So if you want, I want to give an example of it. Let us say that you are playing tennis. The tennis ball is coming straight at you. What do? You hit the tennis ball with your racket. What happens? The ball goes in the opposite direction. So this prayaschitta karma is like the tennis racket. Your prarabdha karma is the tennis ball discharged by your opponent, which is coming towards you. Your prayaschitta karma is the tennis racket by which you send the ball away from you. So in physics, they call it the law of resultant forces. Prayaschitta karma is based on that. Prayashchitam will produce agami karma. Agami karma can mitigate or even neutralize completely pranabdha karma. Of course, the result depends upon the strength, relative strengths of agami and prarabdha. Right? So there can be a powerful prarabdha and a weak agami, or so many combinations are there. And here, therefore, Arjuna has been told to surrender his free will to the law of karma, the laws of the Lord. The sign of being a Vishwarupa Bhakt, having understood that the Lord is Vishwarupa, is my ability to accept prarabdha karma without undue disturbance of my mind. And this acceptance of unfavorable situations in my life, unfavorable prarabdha, is a natural outcome of Vishwarupa Bhakti. Vishwarupa Bhakti gives me emotional maturity, which helps me to accept non-favorable prarabdha. Therefore, learning to accept old age, learning to accept problems of old age. When you get up in the morning, your body will creak. Learning to accept that creak without saying, oh my God, why are you giving me this creak? Learning to accept disease of your loved ones. Learning to accept death of your loved ones. Learning to accept death of your own body. All this is emotional maturity. And this emotional maturity is the outcome of Vishwarupa Bhakti. And those who remember Vivek Chudamani, Shankara defines this very beautifully. Sahanam sarvadukhanam apratikara purvakam. He says this is the definition of titiksha. Sahanam sarvadukhanam, the ability to take all sufferings, to bear all sufferings. How? Apratikara purvakam, without allowing those sufferings to generate bitterness, anger, or other negative thoughts. And Arjuna here has understood. He is trying to accept the fact, digest the fact that Dronacharya and Bhishmacharya will die, along with many warriors on the Pandava sides, which can be friends, relatives, loved ones. And as you know, Abhimanyu also dies. His own son dies. Therefore, he is silent. He doesn't say anything more. And then Sanjaya begins to comment. And Sanjaya says, Etat Vachanam Keshavasya. These words of Keshava, these words of Krishna, Srutva, having heard these words of Krishna, And who was Krishna? Kiriti. Kiriti here refers to not Krishna. Kiriti here refers to Arjuna. Kiriti means the one who is wearing a crown. So Kiriti, Arjuna, Vepamanaha. Vepamana means he has begun to tremble. Arjuna is trembling. Why? Because he finally begin to understand that no jiva can ever escape the hands of karma, can escape the law of karma. And therefore, bhuya eva Krishnam namaskritva pranamya. He, Krishnam pranamya. Namaskara indicates the surrender of the will to the law of karma. Bhuya eva, again and again, he is doing the namaskara to Krishna, indicating that he is surrendering to the law of karma. Bhita bhitaha. Arjuna is frightened because bhita bhitaha. Because the law of karma is powerful and all of us jivas are very, very powerless. So initially this will happen. The more I mature, the more I understand the law of karma, and the more I understand, the less I will fear. So with the onset of Vishwarupa Bhakti, bhayam, fear will be gone. And therefore this Arjuna, Kiriti, aha Krishnam, he spoke to Krishna, bhuyaha evaha, once again he spoke to Krishna, kritanjalihi, so with anjali, hands in anjali mudra, and folded palms, and sagad gadam, with a choked voice, he says. So this is what the verse says. And here Shankara adds an interesting explanation about the choked voice. He says when, in his commentary, in his bhashyam, he says that when there is great emotion, what happens? You shed tears. And Shankara says these tears flow onto the cheek, and sometimes they flow from the cheek, they flow into your nostrils and into your throat also. And the tears flowing in your throat, they mix with the phlegm in your throat. And that mixture of the phlegm, it loosens the phlegm and therefore causes a slight obstruction in the voice box, leading to a choked voice. So this is Shankara's explanation of Sagad Gada, choked voice. Right? So Arjuna's maturity, remember here, is artificial maturity. It is not arising out of wisdom because jnana has not happened. So it is like artificially ripening a mango and a natural ripening of a mango. There is a difference in taste. So Arjuna's appreciation of Vishwarupa is not born out of natural ripening. It is happening artificially because of the Divya Chakshu which Krishna has given him. And this Divya Chakshu will not work for long. Therefore, here he begins to get frightened and therefore repeatedly does namaskara. Right? And Shankara here makes another note in his commentary. So why does Sanjay tell these things to Dhritarashtra? Because this is Sanjay Uvacha. Right? He says, Sanjay is pointing out that with Bhishma, Drona, and Karna dead. How dead? Because he says that you will kill these three. If these three die, Sanjaya is pointing out to Dhritarashtra that the defeat of the Kaurava army is certain. And therefore the defeat of all, the death and defeat of all his sons are certain. And therefore Sanjay was actually hoping that Dhritarashtra would say, okay, I don't want to fight, and he would order Duryodhana not to fight. Remember, Dhritarashtra was the king. If he said don't fight, then the Bhishma and the Dronacharya would no longer support Duryodhana, and the war could have been avoided. So it's a very, very clear message. It should have worked. Why is it that Dhritarashtra could not act upon it? So Shankara says, even then, Dhritarashtra did not listen to these words. Why? The force of prarabdha. Avitya yasha. What was meant to happen had to happen, which is what Prarabdha was there. And what was Prarabdha dictating? The death of all those people who followed Adharma, including all the sons of Dhritarashtra. And since this death had to come, and this Krishna said, how? He said earlier that I have already killed all these people. Because of that, Dhritarashtra could not hear or act, was not in a position to act upon the message which was so clear, even though Sanjay had very clearly indicated that these three would die and therefore you would be defeated and your army would be defeated and all your sons would die. In spite of knowing that result, Dhritarashtra could not do anything about it because Prarabdha was there. So with this, we'll stop for the day. Any questions? Sometimes Prarabdha is so strong, nothing can be done.
Acharya ji, in Karma Kanda, all these things are prescribed for, say, Graha Shanti and Sandhi Shanti and that type of stuff. So, all of them, so ultimately, or you do puja and prarthana and all those things, archana, etc. So, the purpose is to reduce your karma phala and seek daiva phala to intervene, and thereby you can alter the events. So karma phala can be altered, very similar to prayashchitta karma, by doing all the other karma as prescribed in Shastras.
Yes. Prayaschitta karma will create punyam which is meant specifically for altering your negative karma, right? But other karma simply creates punyam for which there is a prescribed result. Any punyam, see, the thing is that punyam and papam are adrish. So we have to go by Shastram. Shastram doesn't say that any punyam will negate any papam. Shastram says that prayashchitta punyam alone negates prarabdha papam. So all your other karmas are good. They will create punyam. But the purpose of all those punyams can be different. Mostly chitta shuddhi.
Thank you.
Okay.
Acharya.
Yes, Vinita.
Acharya. As we have seen, there are some very vyavaharik events which have happened, which are very sad, and they are this thing we understand as Vedantins about prarabdha and free will. How should be our approach? We also know about Brahman and Maya. So how should be our approach?
What is the approach?
Prayer, yes, it's
See, your approach is very simple. This is Vyavaharika and this is going to happen in
right.
Vyavaharika. Let me not be disturbed.
Okay.
It's as simple as that. It is not that you will not have pain, okay? You will have pain.
Yeah.
But as I said, that pain is there. You have to bear it. But the jnanam which is assimilated, that tells you that I am not the body, I am not the mind. The pain will come, the pain will go.
Right. Right. Compassion has its place, but it cannot. We cannot avoid.
I don't know. What is it? What do you mean by that?
Like empathizing. Like there is a situation which we know that is not, conducive to any kind of happiness or any this thing.
For somebody else or for you?
No, for somebody else.
That's okay. I mean, you are a human being. You have to empathize. You have to do whatever is possible to alleviate that pain.
Right. But we have to understand it as being vyavaharika and something which is.
That is, see, the vyavaharik understanding is for yourself. That understanding you don't show others. You can't go and tell somebody this is your prarabdha karma. That is being cruel.
Right.
So there you behave. So it'll go. Can I do anything else for you? Be there for them. That is all part of being human, part of being a human being.
Yes.
But the knowledge is for your consumption. When you are in pain, you tell yourself, yes, this is vyavaharika pain. You can't tell that to others. That's the biggest mistake
Correct.
that Vedantin can do. Try to
Yes.
give gyan to somebody else when he is in pain.
Correct. Yes. Yes. Absolutely. Yes, Acharya. Thank you.
And so Jivan Mukti is for your own self in Vyavaharika.
There is no such thing as Jivan Mukti at all. You are Brahman. Where is the question of being Mukta?
So the benefits, I meant the benefits.
Benefits, yes. Jivan Mukti benefits are Vyavaharika.
Om Acharya.
Yes, Induji.
So I'm just a thought that came to my mind, and I thought maybe I should clarify that while we were reading this four names, the Drona, Bhishma, Jayadratha, and Karna. So it could also be indicating that Drona and Bhishma, he's talking that the raga, he's very close to them. So they represent the raga part, and the Jayadratha and Karna are seen as the worst enemies. So raga get over raga and Dvaisha.
There's no problem with that interpretation also.
Thank you.
Okay, so with this we'll stop for today. Om Purnamadav Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnam Eva Vasishyate Om Shanti 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 Om Tat Sat Om Namah Shivaya. Thank you for your patience. Om Om.
Thank you, Acharya ji.